Meet Dr. Jobs. He's a periodontist, a diamond cut above the rest, yet his bedside manner is warm, welcoming, understanding, and inspirational. And of course there's Dr. Torres. She has the philosophy that time is measured to the extent by which it is used, and not to the extent to which it passes, making her exact, deliberate, and beautiful as a perfect diamond. And then there's Dr. Chon. Hands of a surgeon, mind of an engineer, and the heart of a hero.
Good morning, everybody. So we have our first case this morning. It's a very wonderful patient. She has an existing bridge, a dental bridge on the upper right side, and because of cavities and actually fracture on the teeth, she's in tremendous pain. So she just came in to see us. She contacted us, but because she was in pain, we got her in right away, and we're going into treatment right away. So our game plan is when there's a fracture on a tooth root, unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done to save those teeth. So what we do, the quicker we get there, the better, because the longer a fracture stays in, the more bone that can be destroyed as the body goes through its process. So our goal is to get those tooth roots out, clean up any potential infection that's there within the sockets, and then we do our bone grafting using cadaver bone that comes from a tissue graft, an FDA-approved tissue bank. We're able to fill those defects, form it to where we want it to be, cover with barriers. The barriers will protect the bone grafting material, and then a few stitches will go into place. So our long-term plan for her is to do 3 individual implants. So let's get the day started with that. So our extraction case went perfect. It was, I like to say it was textbook. Everything went according to plan. The teeth came out, the bone was completely, when we extract these teeth, we want to keep that, whatever is remaining, intact, right? So it's not about being rough and just getting the teeth out. It's about being delicate and maintaining whatever is there already. So we were able to achieve that. We were able to maintain that bony housing. She did great throughout the appointment. and she didn't feel a thing, and so now she's out of pain, and she's on her way. Hello everyone, we have an awesome case. So Ms. Sullivan is here. We've already extracted some teeth and done some bone grafting. So now she's ready, she's prepared for those areas are ready for implants to go in. So today we'll be putting in two dental implants. And how we're approaching this case is we're doing it computer guided, but it's off of what we call a static guide. So we know, as you guys know, we do a lot of robotic surgery, which we can make changes at any time. Another way to do guided surgery is to take a patient's bone scan and then digitally create what the new teeth should look like to match the adjacent and the opposing teeth. Once we have that game plan, we can now position implants into that patient's bone anatomy so to properly support those future teeth, right? So once we have that plan, a custom 3D printed guide can be made to snap into the patient's teeth, which now as I'm preparing the site for the implants, it'll go in through that guide. The implants will go in through that guide. So again, it controls depth, rotation, angulation. So it makes everything very precise. So let's get started with that case.
Maria Sullivan. I'm getting implants. I'm getting two of the, what are they called, the hooks, put on this side. I already have one done here. The teeth here were all rotted out, and so was that one. So they pulled the teeth and they suggested implants, and that works for me because I have the gagging reflex really bad, and I don't think I could do dentures. So this is your real teeth, fake teeth, but they're still like real teeth. I am a meat eater, so therefore I need to be able to chew my steaks. I cannot live without a steak. As soon as my dentist told me that, now the teeth were pretty much done, I did the appointment right away. It's a long procedure because you have to, de-extract, then you have to wait to get the stitches out, and then you have to wait till that heals, But it's well worth it. You spend money on everything else in this world. You should spend money on you, your health, and your teeth are very important. For somebody that's actually scared of going to the dentist, I'm very relaxed, So I would recommend this place and recommend getting implants.
So Ms. Sullivan's case went great. We were able to put in both implants completely computer guided. They went in with great stability. We sutured up. She did great throughout. She said it was better than expected, which is always good to hear. And now she's just in a holding pattern. She's going to be healing for a few months before she can get her teeth. So everything went well. Hey everyone. So our next case is Dennis. Dennis is actually a special patient because he's one of the first patients that I started to see when I first came into Columbia. So now we have 2 locations in Columbia, but our original location when I first started there, Dennis was one of the first few patients, and I've done several implants on him already, and long-standing dentistry, long-term root canals, crowns. Over time, unfortunately, they can break down, right? When you're talking 20, 30 years, things can start to break down. And so we have a tooth today. It's actually next to an implant that I've placed. And so Dennis has that implant and crown already. But behind that, the tooth has a cavity that, his dentist has said that it's not restorable, meaning it cannot be saved. So his dentist sent the patient to us. We'll be taking the tooth out today. And of course, one, to preserve that bone volume for a future implant, and also because that extraction site is next to an adjacent implant, we'll be doing bone grafting to preserve our bone volume and make sure nothing is lost, both in that site as well as against the existing implant. So it should be a very straightforward case.
Dennis Andrews, I'm having a tooth extracted today. I'm having tooth extracted because I had an implant next to a tooth, and that tooth is not real healthy. So they decided to extract it and repaired the bone next to the implant. Probably about 3 months ago. The dentist suggested that I do that so that it doesn't affect the implant that's already been put in. I've been coming to the doctor for the last 20-some years. He's a great guy. He's real bubbly. He's all good humor. He's always upbeat, never down. He's always up. He's the energized bunny. The whole process here is amazing. It's a new place, and they keep it up. Today he just tried a new process that when he numbed me, he used his vibrating tool, and the pain from the injection was minimal. It was amazing. It worked really good. Yeah, he said it's brand new. It's a brand new process. He just started. No tears today.
So your last implant, did they use the robot or was that just regular?
No, he just drilled it himself. Yeah.
And I guess if you knew somebody who's having the same issue, what would you tell them about coming to this place?
Oh, this is first line, a classy place. I mean, everything is done professionally, and they use the latest and the greatest tools that are out there. You can just tell by looking in the room here. Everything is top of the line. It's a good place to come if you need dental work, and they do it all.
Okay, so Dennis's, we just wrapped up Dennis's case and everything went perfect. Tooth came out nicely. We were able to protect that layer of bone against the adjacent implant, which was very important. And then we just cleaned up, some of the mush that can build up in a socket with some minor infections. And once we did that, we irrigated, cleaned everything out, put some bone grafting material, cadaver bone. That's going to induce Dennis's own body to come into that space to grow bone into the soft tissue. So that's going to help us maintain that bone volume. We cover it up with a barrier. That barrier will protect that bone as Dennis is healing over the next few weeks. And then we placed a couple of stitches. So everything turned out well for Dennis, and he left very happy.
In order to have a dental implant and teeth at a later date, the person may need more bone to anchor the implant. There are several ways to reproduce the bone so that your jaw will be able to accept a dental implant. These are called bone grafting techniques. A softer mix of bone substitute is placed where bone is missing and covered with a tarp called a membrane. This graft also grows bone. When the bone heals, a dental implant is placed and allowed to heal, and the final tooth is placed on it. Bone grafting procedures are safe, and their success keeps improving with new technology. The advantages far outweigh the risks, giving you new permanent teeth that should last you a lifetime.
Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome back to another day at our practice. This morning we have Craig, who is missing several teeth on the upper right side, and we're building back. So we have to place a couple of implants and eventually do a bridge across to replace those missing teeth. Now in Craig's situation, which happens, it's actually a very common thing. The longer you've been missing teeth, we all have hollow spaces, sinus cavities. There's several sinuses in our skull, but what we're concerned about is the maxillary sinus, which is in the posterior jaw on the upper. Now this cavity is really nothing. It's just a cavity, and as we breathe, air travels through there. The cavity has a nice lining and all that good stuff. And of course, sometimes we get sinus infections and that cavity can become inflamed. But what happens often when you're missing teeth, when you're missing the upper posterior teeth, the sinus cavity can start to expand. And as it expands, it does so at the cost of bone, meaning if it expands downwards, now we're losing that bone volume that we had. And that comes into play when we want to replace these missing teeth with dental implants. Now we don't have that height of bone that we need, right? Because an implant has to go into bone. It needs to be surrounded by bone. We cannot just put an implant and have it extend into the sinus cavity, because that will lead to issues, problems, and not to mention the implant just won't have stability. But what is very good and what's often very predictable is to grow bone in the sinus cavity. So what we're able to do through the mouth, access the sinus, we create a little window, access that lining, we can lift that lining up, and now we can put bone grafting material in, and that becomes very predictably very solid bone that we can anchor an implant into. Often, just to save the patient two different surgeries, we can actually combine implant placement with the sinus augmentation all in one visit. So it's one surgery and it's one and done. And Craig's going to be nice and numb, not going to feel a thing. This is all just local anesthesia. Very easy for us to do. We do this several times a week, just this procedure, and it's extremely predictable. So that's our game plan this morning, is to put in two implants and do a sinus grafting procedure all in one visit or one surgery.
My name is Craig Smolin. I had some bone loss on the top right corner of my mouth, so I ended up losing a tooth, and I was without a tooth for quite some time, and the two teeth that were next to it were starting to get bad as well. So it was finally time to get the bone grafting done and get some teeth put back in. It was kind of weird not having a tooth back there. The one next to it was causing pain because it was always loose, and things would get caught back there, so it was just kind of problematic. So my dentist recommended that I had gone to somebody to find out about implants or doing something like that. And the first place that I went to, I thought was excessively high as far as the price is concerned, so I wanted to double check with a second place. I knew this place specialized in implants, and the pricing they gave me was significantly less expensive than the other place with actually more work being done. So So far, I've been extremely impressed with them. It's just gone smooth so far, so I really got no complaints. They've done a great job. I own a mortgage company, a mortgage brokerage called Advantage Star Mortgage. They can reach me at 240-299-0644. We specialize in purchases and refinances. I would just say don't wait any longer than you have to. Kind of, just go ahead and do it. It's not as painful as you may think. It's been very little pain after the process. And it's kind of a lengthy process. Takes about 6 to 9 months to get the whole process done. So you kind of really want to get it started right away so you get the teeth back in as soon as possible. But they've been great. They really have. Hi to my wife Andrea and the kids Caroline and Elizabeth.
And they're not. We don't plan for you to be able to. Better back it up, huh? So the procedure went well. Craig did really well. He was nice and comfortable in the chair. We started off with going into the sinus. We grafted first, and then we went back in, and still using guided surgery. We put in 2 implants into the proper positions, and then we sutured and stitched everything back up. Everything really went textbook perfect. So everything's going to go well for Craig. So our upcoming case is David. David's an awesome patient. He's actually a local musician. We've done some few implants on him already, so he's not new to the process. But we're working on the lower left this time, and we've already extracted the tooth. We've bone grafted it. It's been a few months. Now it's ready for the actual dental implant to go in. And how we're going to do this case is, unlike his other implants, now we're utilizing robotics. So we'll see the dental robot in play. The robot will connect to David. So what we do, for the robot to know where the patient is in real time, the robot has to be connected. So what we'll do is we'll put like a little impression splint. It's just gooey material that then solidifies right over his teeth, opposite to where we're working. And there's a little link. And then to that link, we can attach the robot's arm, let's call it. And now, as David moves, the robot knows in real time where he is, so it's all spatially very accurate and precise. And then based on David's bone scan, we can position the implant where we think is ideal. And now when we go in and start to go in and prepare the site for the implant, as I'm drilling for the implant itself, the robot will make sure that I am going in where I want to go, where I plan to go. It'll control my depth, it'll control my angulation, so it should be very smooth for David. So let's go ahead and get into that case.
cracked a tooth previously, and it had to be removed. And so I'm getting an implant. We had Dr. Joe's. He's very good.
All right, so that case went perfect. David did great. We placed our implant exactly as planned, utilizing Yomi robotics. Implant went in with great stability. That's always something that we're looking for as implant surgeons. Is the bone sometimes can be soft bone, sometimes can be dense bone. We want these implants to go in with a certain torque value so that it goes in nice and tight. And that's exactly what we're able to achieve for David. So now, after a little bit of healing, he'll be ready to go get a tooth on that. And, so he'll be fully functional on both sides.